Greetings, Ian from RTO here. Welcome to another album ranking on a Monday. And today is another of the requests. This is my friend Lee asked me, could I rank the albums of the members of the Rolling Stones? And I said, yep, no problem. We've already done Mick Jagger. And today we're going to do Ronnie Wood. Ronnie Wood, of course, born in 1947, and he's been in the Rolling Stones, which he still is. A member of the Faces and the Jeff Beck group. He started playing in 1964, played with a few rhythm and blues bands, and then including the Byrds and the Creation. He joined Jeff Beck group in 1961 as a guitarist and bassist, playing basses on Truth and Beckola. The group split, so Wood departed along with Rod Stewart, and they formed the Small Faces with Ronnie Lane, Ian McHagan and Kenny Jones. And then in 1975 he joined the Rolling Stones, and he's been there ever since. But in that time he has also produced 7 solo albums and played on other people's stuff as well. So he's a busy old chap, is our Ronnie. So he's released 7 solo albums, so we'll have a look at his solo career. Okay, then, coming in at number 7, this is the 7th album. It was released in 2010, and it's called I Feel Like Playing. There's lots of people play on here, but there's some notables that actually join Ronnie on this. Apart from Ronnie doing the vocals, guitars, bass, harmonica and keyboards, Slash plays guitar on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks. Bob Rock plays on 2. Billy Gibbons plays on 2, and Flea plays bass on 3 as well. So the first track is called Why You Wanna Go and Do a Thing Like That For. Quite a nice track. It's got Slash on here, sort of a country sound too. It's not too bad, pretty good. Sweetness, My Weakness. It's got a bit of a reggae feel to it. Quite like that track. I like Ronnie's playing on that. Lucky Man, that's okay, it's listenable, it's not brilliant, but it's pleasant enough. I Gotta See, I love this song. For start, it's got Billy Gibbons on it, and you got Flea on the bass. It's pretty good. Then we have my favourite track on here, Thing About You. You got a track written by Ronnie and Billy Gibbons. It's great, bluesy rock and roll. What you expect from Billy Gibbons. Terrific little track, which is cool. I'm having trouble with my mouse again. Catch You, not a particular favourite of mine. Not one of the best albums on there. Then we get a Willie Dixon cover, Spoonful. Good version of it. Great work here from Ronnie and Slash. Flea's bass line is great. It's a really solid track. I Don't Think So. It's really got that Rolling Stones feel to it. It's a good track. I quite like that one as well. And then we got 100%. The guitar's good. It's quite quirky. Nothing wrong with that one. And then Fancy Pants. Good track, harmonica, Ronnie on here. Nice, good, solid, bluesy rocker. Tell Me Something. One of the weaker tracks on the album. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not particularly one that I'm fond of. And then Forever, good track, good end of the album, good rock track. Okay, just because this is at number 7 doesn't mean I don't dislike it. It's a really good album. There's some great musicians on here. It's an enjoyable album, so I shall give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 6, we've got the 4th album from 1981, and it's just called 1, 2, 3, 4. Lots of people on here again, but the notables joining Ronnie, who does all the usual things. Charlie Watts, drums on 3 tracks. The ever-present Nicky Hopkins, who's probably played piano and keyboards with everyone in the 60s. And Bobby Womack plays a 12-string guitar and bass. First track is just the title track, 1, 2, 3, 4. Great rocker from Ronnie. Some great musicianship on this. Solid track. Fountain of Love. Love that bit of guitar at the beginning. You got this lovely 12-string piece from Bobby Womack. And the bass, very funky bass line, what we expect with Bobby Womack. It's definitely got that Bobby Womack feel to it. Outlaws, little bit of rock and roll on here. The piano played by the magnificent Nicky Hopkins as ever, absolutely tremendous. Good track. Then we get my favourite track on here. It's called Red Eyes. It's a bit of a boogie track, some horns, really good track like that. Then we get Wind Howling. Again, what spoils this is actually Ronnie's vocals. He actually sounds drunk as a skunk. It's not very coherent. Now Priceless is written by Wood and Bobby Womack and arranged by Mr. Rod Stewart. Doesn't sound bad. Sounds very much like a Rod Stewart track, but with Ronnie singing on it. She Was Out There, another good song. It's done in the style of the Rolling Stones. Might have something to do that Charlie plays on it. Down to the Ground, another good song. The horns are on it. Solid stuff. And then the last track, She Never Told Me. Not a favourite of mine, but it's still pretty good, as they say. Okay then, and once again, a very solid album. Some great contributors on it. Charlie Watts is on here, pretty cool. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.1. Okay then, coming in at number 5, we have got his first solo album. I've got to do my own album. I've got my own album to do. Now this is a little quote he took from Rod, who used to say that when he was they were in the Faces, and he said, I've got my own album to do as well. So I think it's just a bit of a dig at well, I don't know if it's a dig, but it's just a bit of fun at with Rod. So on here there's Ronnie Wood on lead vocals and guitars, Keith Richards on guitars, George Harrison on slide guitar, Mick Taylor on the bass and electric guitar. Lots of Rolling Stones on here, and guess what, who does backing vocals? A Mr. Mick Jagger, and a Mr. David Bowie, and a Mr. Rod Stewart. And throw in Ruby Turner as well, so what a band. So the first track on here is called I Can Feel the Fire. Really good track. I love the backing band on this. It's Mick Jagger and David Bowie doing his backing vocals. It's a really good track. Then we get Far East Man. Now this is a song he wrote with George Harrison. It's my favourite track. The slide guitar from George Harrison is brilliant. You got Mick Taylor playing the bass on it. It's just a really good song. Mystifies Me. I love this song again. It's great to see working with his old mate, still working with his mate Rod, even though they used to banter. Good, Rod's doing the backing vocals on that for him. Take a look at the guy. An interesting track. It's very funky. Doesn't really belong on here, but it's really good. Act Together. Now this is a song wrote by Mr. Jagger and Mr. Richards, and it's a typical sort of track and the stuff that we would get used to when Ronnie joined the Rolling Stones. Love that track. It's one of the tracks that's one of my favourite non-Stones but is the Stones tracks, if you get what I'm saying. I Am Grooving You, great cover of the Freddie Scott song. Does it a little bit better, I think. Then we get Shirley, another favourite of my tracks off this album. Love the distorted guitar on that one. Cancel Everything, lovely electric piano on this. Bit of a tapper, I quite like that. Then we get Sure, The One You Need, another great track from Keith and Mick. Strong Stone song without being a Stone song. Then they do a cover of You've Got to Make a Fool of Somebody. Now this was first recorded in '61 by James Ray, but it was more made famous by Freddie and the Dreamers in 1964. I don't particularly like that song anyway, so I'm not very keen on it. Then we got Crotch Music, written by Willie Wakes. I think everybody's covered this. Bowie, Clapton, Aretha Franklin, Doobie Brothers, name it a few. It's a funky thing and I don't mind this sort of jazzy fusion instrumental. I always say that this is almost a Rolling Stones album without being a Rolling Stones album. It's pretty good. I love this album. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.2. Okay, then coming in at number 4, we've got the second album called New Look, and it was released in 1975. So you just sort of joined the Stones by this time. So on here, there's Ronnie Wood, of course. Keith Richards is back playing guitar on a couple of them, and harmony vocals as well. Bobby Womack's back. Well, it's the first. I think it's the first one that Bobby Womack did with him. Mick Taylor's there, although he'd probably just left the Stones. He was working with him, and his old mate from the Faces, Kenny Jones, doing a little bit of drumming as well. So the first track is called I Got Lost When I Found You. Certainly again got the Bobby Womack influence on it, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's a fine musician, producer, songwriter in his own right. So really good. Then we get Big Bayou. Love this track. Just love the solid rock and love the guitar work on that one. Breathe on Me. I love the pedal steel on this. It's just really good. Excellent track. Then we get If You Don't Want My Love, another soulful track. Bobby Womack. Very mellow. Love the gentle guitar on this. Super song. I Can Say She's Alright. Good track, but it's about 2 minutes too long. It's about 6 minutes. Towards the end it sort of loses itself. It's still a good track, but it's just a little bit too long. Then we get Caribbean Boogie. I'm not keen on this one. Doesn't seem to fit on this album at all. Then we get the title track, New Look. Nothing wrong with this one. Very solid. Sweet Baby of Mine. Some great guitar work on this, especially the guitar solo. Really good. And then we have I Can't Stand the Rain, which everyone seems to have covered. First done by Ann Peebles. It's not a very good version of it. It's not one of my favourite versions of it. It's Unholy. Love the guitar work on this. Very funky in places. Just a solid track. Let me get my favourite track, I Got a Feeling. It's very 1975. Ian McLagan wrote this with Bobby Womack and Gene Roussel. Excellent track. I love the electric piano. Very 1975, as I said. Very good album. This is, I think it's got a good mixture on it. You've got some rock, you've got some rock and roll, bit of soul. It's a very all-round good album from Ronnie. So I'm going to give this an RTO set ranking of 7.3. Okay, coming in at number 3, we have his 6th album. There's the year because I haven't put it up as usual, and it's called Not For Beginners. Loads of people on this again, to mention a few. Joining Ronnie this time, we've got Bob Dylan on guitar, Scotty Moore on guitar, Willie Weeks plays the bass, Ian Jennings plays double bass, guitars Mick Jones, Ian McLagan on the piano, DJ Fontana, Andy Newark on drums. So there's quite a few people on this. First track is called Wayside. Sort of a movie sort of a song here. Some great drumming. It's got a bit of a shuffle to it. It's a really good track. Rock and Roll Start. Love this. Great track. Well, this is one of the. I know this is one of his later albums, so it's pretty good. This next track, what do you think he did? There's some. The vocals are done from Kelly Jones from Stereophonics on this, and it's a really good. It's a nice acoustic, natural sort of song. Really good. This Little Heart, my favourite track on this one. This is a great vocal from a young lady called Leah Wood. Really, really good. Leaving Here, love the drumming on it. It's very 60s. That Hammond sounds just right. This is a song written by Motown songwriters Holland, Dozier Holland. Really good. I think this was originally released by Eddie Holland in '63, and it's a really good cover. Hypershine. It's the next track. Very laid back, gentle, sort of nice track. Are You Behaving Yourself? One of them sultry songs. Piano, jazzy piano, nice drum beat. The only thing that sort of lets it down is Ronnie's singing. Be Beautiful, lovely steel pedal on this, absolutely brilliant. I do like it when Ronnie gets the steel pedal out, he's pretty good at it. Wake Up You Beauty, this is a bit dreary in places, I'm very keen on it. Interfere, love the guitar one on this. This is a quite jazzy blues thing, reminds me of Chet Atkins actually. Real Hard Rocker, does what it says on the tin. Good track, some great riffing in that. Heart, Soul and Body, love the harmonica on this, really good. Then we got King of Kings by Bob Dylan. It's okay, not a bad version. This is a good album again. There's a couple on here that don't I'm not too keen on, but the rest of the album is pretty good. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, coming in at number 2. We're to 1979 now, and the third album, Gimme Some Neck. Featuring on here is Ronnie Wood, Keith Richards, Charlie Watts, and drums on 7 Days is Mr. Mick Fleetwood. Dave Mason guitar and Robert Popwell on the bass. Ian McLagan's on keyboards. Harry Phillips plays a bit of piano. Mick Jagger's back doing some backing vocals, and Bobby Keys plays sax. First track on this one is called Worry No More. I love this song. It's just like mates jamming at the bar really, all round his house. It's really good, fun track to start the album. Breaking My Heart, I love the distorted guitar at the beginning of this, absolutely brilliant track. Then we get this little traditional song called Delia, gentle guitar. It's only 42 seconds. Buried Alive, great rock track this is. Very simple drum beat from Charlie, but effective. Come to Release. This is another track that's very Rolling Stones. You got both Keith, Mick, they're all on here playing. Keith's playing guitar and backing vocals. Mick's doing the backing vocals. Charlie on the drums. They throw in a bit of keyboards from Iain from the Faces. It's all sort of friends at having fun. It's a really good track. Then we got Infection, a good rocker. The piano sounds good on that. That's what I like about it. 7 Days. Now the drumming on this from Mick Fleetwood is great. You can tell it's Mick Fleetwood. It's got that shuffle feel to it. And again, it's a decent cover of a Bob Dylan song. We All Get Old, another good rocker from Ronnie. Sounds to be stoned, but I don't care. It's a good track. Then we have this track called F You See Her. You can tell it's Ronnie and Keith playing together because they play so well off each other. You know, they've been playing the guitar together since 1975 in the Stones, but he's worked on stuff with him, so he's been playing with him a long time, and they just really hit it off again in that, and it's a great little track. Lost and Lonely, I'm not keen on this. It's a little bit wishy-washy. I think the backing vocal from Mick though is pretty good. Don't Worry is the next one. Great little rocker to end the album. I love this album, but when you've got Keith and Ronnie playing guitars on this, you know it's going to be a damn good album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.6. So, my favourite number one is an album that actually didn't do well. No one seemed to like it, but I do. And again, I haven't put the year it come out. Getting not very good at this. Slap on the wrist for Iain. But the album's called, there's the year, and the album is called Slide on This. Again, it's got lots of people on this. But people that you know, we got The Edge doing a bit of guitar, Doug Wimbush on bass, Ian McLagan's on the piano, Chuck Leavell, who plays keyboards with the Stones on stage, is on this. And there's a rumour that the drumming on one of the tracks is Jimmy White, the snooker player. Also on here is Charlie Watts, Simon Kirke from Bad Company and Free, and Joe Elliott from Def Leppard sings on this as well. So the first track is called Somebody Else Might. I love this. The slide guitar is brilliant at the beginning. Great track, great start to the album. Testify, a little bit of didgeridoo here, and it's just a very good track. Ain't Rock and Roll's the next one. Love the guitar effects on here. One of my favourite tracks off this album. Brilliant stuff. Then we get Josephine, a great little rocker. Great vocal from Ronnie on this. His vocals on this album are absolutely brilliant. Knock Your Teeth Out, second favourite track on here. Just great rock and roll from Ronnie. Then we get Ragtime Annie, Lily's Bordello, which is an additional song. It's a bit of a country. I want to be watching the Dukes of Hazzard when I'm listening to this, because it's got that sort of fun time stuff that them songs you used to get from Dukes of Hazzard. Must Be Love, another great song. It's got a blues feel to this. Fear Your Future, love the rhythm guitar on this. Is a little bit different, more funky, but a solid track. Then we get Show Me, very Rolling Stones, but that's because he is in the Rolling Stones. Solid drumming from Charlie on that. Always Wanted More. This is the duet he did with Joe Elliott. It's a really, really good track. Then we got Thinking. Gentle track. The string arrangement's really good. It just adds that little bit of texture to the track. Then we get my favourite track on here called Like It. Now allegedly the drumming is done by Gimme, the snooker player. And I do like this. It's a good little rocker. Then we get Breathe On Me, which is a song that one of his own songs, and this is more of a stripped back version of it, and it's pretty good. The last album track on the album. This is a really good album. Didn't sell so many copies and was a bit of a flop. But I think this is one of the best solo out. This is the best solo album that Ronnie did. Some excellent playing on here. There's not a bad track on there. It's just a solid album from top to bottom with some rock, blues, country all mixed in. Really good album, and I enjoy this album quite a lot. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10, even though I forgot to put the year it come out on. Okay, that's another member of the Rolling Stones done. Got a few to go through. Still, we've got Keith, Brian, Charlie. We're even looking at Charlie's stuff, and of course Bill Wyman. But Bill Wyman's been in quite a few, so we're going to do something a bit special for Bill Wyman. Okay then, that's all for this one. Got a great classic album for you today, and it is the Mamas and Papas debut album, If You Can't Believe Your Ears and Eyes. So I'm looking forward to that one. So join me for that later. Bye for now.